Most beginner rappers don't even know the areas they should be working on. And that's not even their fault, because nobody has ever even broken it down for them in a simple and understandable, clear way. And in this video, I'm going to change that. I'm going to break down every single area that you need to develop as a rapper, so that from today, you always know exactly where you're at, what you need to be doing, and where you're going. And today, it's just an overview of all of these areas. But as this series continues, we're going to take each one of these and break it down in full. So by the end of the series, you'll have everything you need to come up as a rapper. So this is the Come Up Blueprint. First of all, I want you to think of becoming a rapper in terms of FIFA. You're probably thinking, what's he going on about? Well, let me break it down for you. When you're playing FIFA and you have an individual player, he has different attributes and they're spread across different categories. So you have like defending attributes, attacking attributes, mental attributes. And then within that, you have the things such as like pace 99 or strength, heading, vision. And becoming a rapper is exactly the same. We can spread across the different areas that we need to get better at. And within there, there's different attributes. So it could be rhyming, flow, melody. And I'm going to break down what these sections are today. So let's get into it. I like to break rap down into 4 separate sections. So we have number 1, skill. We have number 2, songwriting. We have number 3, performance. And then we have number 4, which is marketing. So let's have a look at number 1, which is skill. First and foremost, we need to sort out our basics, the foundations, and that's timing. We need to have a clear understanding of what a bar is, how do we count a bar, where are we at any given time within the bars. So also, as well as that, we also have to know where we're starting our lyric and where we're finishing it at any given time. So timing, that's like the foundation, because you don't want to be building too much on top of that if we don't have the timing correct, because everything else is just going to fall apart. Think of it like you're building a house. You get the foundations there, then you build the structures, and then you furnish it. These times, a lot of up-and-coming rappers, they're trying to furnish it and do multiple syllables and all of these flows, and they're not even on time. Let's strip it back, get back to basics. Cool. Once we've got the timing out of the way, the next thing I like to look at within skill is what I break down as the 3 pillars of rap. We have what we call delivery, or what I like to call delivery. Then we also have the technicals, and then we have content. On the delivery side, we're looking at how you say what you're saying. So we're looking at the emotion, we're looking at the melody, these kind of things, as well as others. With the technicals, we're looking at the technical aspects that make up rap. So we're looking at the rhyming patterns, the flows, and other areas like that. After that, we're now looking at content. So this is what you're actually saying. So this is where narrative, storytelling, being clever, whether it be metaphors, similes, contrast, areas like that. We put that all together, the delivery, the technicals, and the content, and we've got the skill side. Cool. But it's all good having skill, but if we just have that skill and we don't make great songs, then we're still missing out. So the second stage is songwriting. This is where we use that skill to write great songs. So now if we're looking at great songs, we need to understand, what is the structure of a song? What's a chorus? What's a verse? What's a pre-chorus? How long should the chorus be? What should we be addressing in the chorus? What should we be addressing in the verse? This is all to do with the structure. And then we also look at the journey of a song. So a song should take you somewhere. You start somewhere, it takes you somewhere else. So what we're talking about in the chorus, we're addressing a certain area, and then in the verse, we're going somewhere else with it. These are all things that we need to understand. So that's song structure and journey. And then we like to introduce what I like to call the depth to a song. And by depth, I'm not talking about, oh, we have to be saying something all philosophical and that. Far from it. By depth, I'm just talking about, how can we present the idea or what we're trying to get across in the song in a way that will connect with our audience? Yeah, so perfect example. If we look at Beyonce, the song Halo, yeah? When she's saying Halo, the song's not about a halo, but she's using that as a metaphor to get across what she's talking about in relationships. Another idea. Let's look at Miley Cyrus when she done the song Wrecking Ball. She's not talking about a wrecking ball, but she's using that metaphor to talk about what she actually is talking about. Let's even like Nines, a song where he's got "I love you like a drug dealer." He's not talking about that, but he's using it as a metaphor to express what he's trying to say. So there's certain tricks that we can be using to get across our ideas in the best way to connect with our audience. So this is what we'll tackle in that area. But now, we've dealt with skill, we've dealt with songwriting. The next stage of that is performance, because we need to bring these things to life. Eventually, you're going to be on the stage, you're going to be performing in front of thousands, tens of thousands of people, or you'll be on the camera shooting your music video, shooting content. So how do we now bring to life these skills and these songs that we've written? This is where the performance area comes in, which is stage number 3, performance. So we need to understand stage presence. We need to command that stage, command that space we're in, and utilize all of the space within it. Also, we need to be looking at artistic expression. And what do I mean by that? If you look at someone like Kendrick Lamar, the way he performs is a lot different to the way someone like Drake performs, or the way J. Cole performs, or even the way a Kanye performs, or even the way Future performs. Or let's look at Playboi Carti. All these people, Travis Scott, they all have their different ways of artistically expressing their music and their songs. So we need to find our own lane and how we're going to express that and bring to life in our performance the great songs and the great lyrics that we've written. Cool. As well as that, we also will be looking at arrangement. So what do I mean by that? Let's just say you've got a performance, you've got to perform 3-4 tracks. How do we pick what tracks we're going to do? How do we put them in the order so that the performance itself has its journey? These are things that we can address within performance. So cool. Now let's look at it. We've wrapped up songwriting. We've wrapped up skill, which was before the songwriting, and then we wrapped up performance. The next stage 4 is now marketing, because songwriting, performance, and skill, that deals with the talent side. But all that talent is almost useless if we can't find the people to connect with it. Yeah, because it'd just be invisible. You can be the best artist in the world, have the best lyrics, have the best metaphors, write the best songs, and have the best performance. But if no one sees it, you're not going to be able to build that career that you dream of or what you see other people doing. So this is where the marketing comes into it. We have to find a way to connect that talent with the audience. So now let's have a look at marketing. I like to start on the marketing side. Let's look at mindset. Why is the mindset so important? Because a part of the reason why most artists fail or they don't become what they could have is because they don't have that right mindset of the journey and what it actually takes, and even to keep doing the things that they should be doing when it's going slow, when you're not getting views, when you're getting negative feedback from people. What is the mindset we need to get ourselves through that? That's one set of mindset. Another key set of mindset that you'll need as a rapper coming up is the understanding that you're not just an artist, you're a business, you're a brand. So what is your identity? Which leads us more into, okay, if this is how businesses operate and I'm a business, how do I need to be operating? How can I learn from that and improve what I'm doing so that I can connect with my audience and build the career that I want? Also now within the marketing section, we've looked at mindset. We've looked at mindset on a resilience side. We've looked at it on a business side. If we're expanding from that business side and that understanding, it leads us now to identity and branding. Because if we're marketing and we're trying to package the product that we have, we need to have a clear identity to distinguish ourselves from others. Because why should the audience come to you for what you're delivering and not the people who's already bigger than you and more established, or they're people that they already favor in this area? So we need to have an understanding of identity and our branding. Once we now have this, still in the area of marketing, we can start connecting with the audience. What is our tool for this? One of the key tools right now, content creation. So we need to understand what is the best way to even view content creation, because I find once again in my experience in this game, and I've been rapping since I was 12 years old, maybe from 15 to 16 was on like pirate radios, things like that. 17, kind of in like a label situation, independent label, deliberating with them. 20s, 21, I'm just fully independent. I'm selling my music and I'm building my career all the way into 30. For all of my 20s, I'm not doing anything else for my income but music, building a career from that. Why am I saying all of these things? Because in my experience, a part of the reason why artists are not getting their full potential is because when it comes to things like content and that, they're saying, I just love the music. I just do this. I don't want to do content. I don't want to feed the algorithm. But they're looking at content in the wrong way. Content is, instead of looking at it as content, look at it as a form of communication between myself and my audience. Back to my experience, when I was out selling my music, I might have loved music all that I did, but if I wasn't able to package and sell that music, I wouldn't have had a career. So it wasn't the talent, even though I had talent, it wasn't the talent that made me have a career. It's how I packaged it and sold it and presented it to my audience in a way that they could take. Same thing for content. This is the tools that we have now that it actually even makes it a level playing field, because you can literally pick up your phone now and record. But how do we do this? What is the ways that we can do this that will draw the audience in, that will make them pay attention to what we're doing? Because when we're dealing with marketing, it's not just about ourselves, it's about the audience and how do we communicate with them. So while we're looking at marketing and we're looking at content, we need to understand what is the types of content we need to be making, what is working, what are the effective ways of communication with our audience. So that's content. So now we're still in marketing. We've got the mindset. We've got an understanding of our brand and identity. We've now identified the sorts of content that works for us to connect us with our audience. And we know the frequency we're going to make it. And we've got that mindset to keep pushing. What we now need is we need strategy. And once again, we are at an area where a lot of artists are failing, whether they're just starting out or they've been doing this for a while. What is the strategy? Like, I hear a lot of artists talking about, I want to release, but who are you releasing to? If you haven't built up no demand, what are you actually releasing to? Just to drop it on Spotify cold? Because let me throw you a stat. If you look at the stats, millions of songs are put on Spotify every year, yet less than 1% of people actually making decent money from it. Millions of videos are put on YouTube. Millions of content is put out, but who's connecting with these things? So what I'm trying to say is we need to be very strategic. People like Central C have not got to where they have by just guessing. They've had strategy. People like DBE, they haven't got to where they've got to by just doing things off the cuff. They've got strategy. So we need to be very strategic in what we're doing. And now, once we put all of these things together, number one, we've got the skill. We're making great songs. We've got the performance. We've covered the talent. We've got the mindset. We're thinking as a business. We're identifying the ways to communicate to our audience. We're actually executing these things. So we've got a strategy. Now you're in a position to actually build the career that you dream of and give your talent the exposure that it wants. So now we've broken down all the areas you need to come up as a rapper. I've given you the full outline of the come up blueprint. And like I said, as this series continues, we're going to be taking each one of these ideas and breaking it down in more detail. But one of the biggest things that still holds people back, even when they have the information, is not having the right level of support and feedback on how they're progressing through that, or even a direction of what they've actually got to do right now and what's next. And that's why every week I open up a few limited spaces for either one-to-one or group sessions where we identify exactly where you're at. We fix one specific area that will help you move on to the next level in your own personal journey, and also to give you a feel of how we actually work over here and also the services that we provide. And like I say, the session is completely free. So to be fair, you've got nothing to lose. Yeah, so if you're interested, all you need to do is follow me on TikTok or Instagram, or even hit me up in the email address that's in the description. And yeah, send me a message and I'll send you the details.